Good evening and welcome everyone, locally and globally, to Naveda's 80 is the New 50 webinar panel discussion number 16. It's been 4 months. Wow, I can't believe this. So I'm Veena Dansingani, founder, director, and alopecia hair loss specialist of Naveda Integral Wellness Center in Hong Kong, which is the first value-based integral wellness center offering a transformative health experience to its clients with a mission and a vision to open our flagship centers in more than 20 countries by 2024. A big mission indeed. So Naveda empowers people to learn the functions of the body, mind, and spirit, and provides solutions for all using an integral wellness approach, addressing human, planet, and social health. We also promote healthy lifestyle changes through science-based wellness and prevention programs and solutions. We promote healthy, yeah, that's what I said also, yeah. Sorry, we are also going to be taking this, bringing the Indian ancient wisdom to the global platform through Naveda. So Naveda launched a very powerful and meaningful campaign called 80 is the New 50 panel discussion on the 21st of January, 2021. A campaign inspired by our director, Mr. Lal Devinani, who turned 80, or should I say 50, on the 15th of April, 2021. This memorable and once-a-lifetime milestone celebration was witnessed by family, friends, and supporters from over 50 countries. It really takes something to be happy, healthy, active, purposeful, and alive at the age of 80. Mr. Lal is just like our young, dynamic, and charming men who are in our guest panel today. So like we have learned, and we have said this many, many times, and I'm going to repeat this because you all are new to the panel. We have learned that there are many role models like him around the world, and Naveda has made it its mission to get to know as many as possible who can be a true inspiration to, the people who are 50 plus and even younger. So as we have seen that life expectancy has surely increased, and we are seeing more and more people who are living longer than usual. And of course, thanks to healthcare, this is possible these days. But we also have to remember that we've also witnessed, whether it is in our friends, family, or relatives, whatever it is, with age, people tend to develop some physical, mental, emotional, or even spiritual challenges. Things like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, osteoarthritis, heart diseases, obesity, depression, loneliness, losing purpose and joy, passion or drive to even do anything in life. So many people face lots of challenges, even including like cancer we see is up in the rise. We see heart diseases in the rise, and currently we have our pandemic, which is COVID-19. So Naveda has invited to our panel some very young, dynamic business innovators who will share with us their insights and lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'd like to welcome our guests to this panel discussion. First of all, we have Mr. Rocky Motwani, who is the co-founder of GCO Bank, if I pronounce that correctly.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's living on the East Coast of United States, currently in Virginia. He's a proud father of 2 daughters, Sana and Emmy. So Rocky is very much into yoga, acai bowls. He's learning Spanish and is currently reading 2 wellness books, which is How to Think Like a Monk and the TB12 Method. I need to find what that is all about. He is also Mr. Lal's nephew. And then we have Mr. Vikas Motwani, who is the CEO of Motwani International Export House based in Mumbai, India. He has a love for travel and adventure, very passionate about staying fit and eating healthy, and just turned 50 a few days ago. So he turned exactly the same age as Mr. Lal. He also is Mr. Lal's nephew. Then we have Mr. Amit Hira, who's the director of Hinson's Limited, a family conglomerate with his hands in numerous business sectors, which we will find out more about. Besides his interest in numerous types of businesses, he is involved in social work and volunteers as the president of the Young Executives Groups in Hong Kong. He is happily married to his wife, Amisha Hira, and is a father to four beautiful young children. Wow, four. And then we have Dr. Sanjay Nagakar, who is a visionary scientist, a renowned microbiologist, PhD from the University of Hong Kong. He has published more than 100 scientific papers, research articles, reports, and conference abstracts. He has invented over 83 technologies in preventive healthcare, environmental science, ecology, nutraceuticals, and functional foods. He's also Naveda's in-house lifestyle scientist. And then, of course, last but not least, our dearest Mr. Lal. Mr. Lal Darinani is Naveda's director, and 80 is the new 50 campaign ambassador. He is well known as Lal Lamos, a business tycoon who understands what it takes to get from rags to riches. He has owned multiple businesses around the world, and until 10 years ago, he decided he wanted to retire and enjoy his golden years. But being the habitual business tycoon and a man with a golden heart, he yet saw a big opportunity in the wellness industry and has invested in his own health and well being and others by investing into Naveda Wellness to bring in a paradigm shift in the way people deal with health and well being, and also offering a purpose to our senior citizens to live a more purposeful and meaningful life. He truly is a role model and an inspiration to all that he crosses path with. So thank you everyone for being here. I hope I have introduced all of you well, and I would love to, or we would all love to hear more about you, where you are in your lives, and what stages. What do you think about this campaign? So I'm going to start with Rocky because he's, it's 9 a.m. in the morning. He's so fresh. So
Great, yes.
I'm going to start with Rocky first. So welcome, Rocky. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you, Veena. To me, this is it's very easy. This is like a family reunion because I think half the members here are family members. So this is the start of our big family reunion.
Exactly. I don't know. Were you present on his birthday celebration?
I was not. Unfortunately, I missed it.
See? Yeah. So actually, this is a perfect opportunity to actually get to know him even better, or even acknowledge him.
Yes. Happy birthday, Uncle Lal. I missed this, but you didn't make my celebration, which was also 2 weeks ago. So we're mutually.
Was your birthday as well 2 weeks ago?
It was my birthday 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
April. Yeah. No.
Wow,
25, April 25th.
Wow, you have lots of April birthdays here, and even Amit is April. Wow.
I'm April as well. Wow. My birthday was yesterday, May 5.
May.
Oh, yeah. So we have to celebrate. So Rocky, did you turn 50?
No, I'm much younger. I'm I'm 48. I just turned 48.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of years to figure everything out.
Great. So tell us, is this the first time you're hearing about this campaign, or you've been getting our information previously?
No, I get the information because I receive Uncle Lal's WhatsApps, which I've been watching him sing and dance and you're right, rejuvenate himself in a way I have not expected or knew him in the last probably 5 or 10 years in terms of how he's transforming how he's living his life.
Right. But did you know was he always like that? I mean, you've known him for the longest time. Of course, you're his nephew. Has he had this in him?
I always knew him as a hard-charging businessman, but who was a life of the party. So if you got him to a party, he was always, jovial, fun-loving, seemed to be living carefree. So I think I always knew there was a side of him that was very different than the business guy. But I think the business guy is how I always perceived him, right? And that's how he was perceived in our family, at least.
Mm, wonderful. So, I mean, hearing a little bit about our campaign, 80 is the new 50, what do you think about that?
I agree 100%, right? I think people are living longer. The world, even in the midst of this pandemic, which has been hard on lots of folks, life expectancy is going up, right? Technology in both medical and non-medical technology is advancing at a rate that people did not expect, or maybe it's almost overwhelming folks about how it's increasing life expectancy. People are being lifted out of poverty, right, all around the world. So I think there's in the midst of all the craziness of this world, there is kind of a general theme that we're living longer, we're more productive, there's more wealth, and so what should we be doing with our time?
Mm,
So
exactly.
I think it's a very good campaign, and it has a lot of so it's a big topic to tackle.
It is. And that is why you can see that it's going to run year long.
Yeah, and then what 81 is the new 51? Is that next year's? When do you change the name?
We'll see, but definitely the whole campaign is 80 is the new 50, and lots is going to be covered under that. So tell us, are you still in the lockdown in the US?
No, the U.S. Has turned the corner, thankfully, or it was about to turn the corner. So, half the population has been vaccinated. Sorry, let me just decline that. No, so I think in the U.S., everyone feels like the corner is generally turning. We, just so you understand, my family took a pretty bold step during the pandemic. So we had two young children. Both my wife and I can work remotely, and the kids are, preschool, right? So we actually didn't own an apartment. We were living in Manhattan. So given that Manhattan had locked down, we actually put everything in storage and said, let's go south. So we just drove basically all the way to Florida and basically stopped. And I think my wife did a count. We stayed in 30 different houses and probably, across 15 or 17 different cities in the last year. Basically just living and working remotely. So I've seen the US pandemic kind of in many different places on the East Coast, right? Some places which were very locked down, some places which were there was no pandemic. And as of now, I think with half the population vaccinated, the light's at the end of the tunnel here, and folks are not facing kind of the dire infections and deaths that we're seeing kind of in other places. So I think here we feel like that we're turning the corner.
Mm. And why did you choose to sort of like take this step of like moving around?
Oh, right away. I mean, when the pandemic hit here in March of 2020, we were outside New York, and that's when New York was at its worst. So we immediately went to Texas to some family members, my in-laws' home, and then have pretty much been on the road ever since. Right? We spent a month in Texas, a month in Colorado, a month in Georgia, a month in 3 months in Florida. So it was pretty rapidly. We kind of said let's just do it. And then luckily I have a wife. For the married men on the call, right? To get your wife to agree to put everything in storage and live out of a suitcase effectively for the course of a year is it's a pretty transformational event, right? To live with
And
so
with two
few material possessions
with two small kids, right?
and two small kids.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're having it's a time lesson. It's an experience I think we'll have for our lifetime. So luckily we've been impacted by COVID. We've had some folks, right, who've had some tragedies, but for our own little nuclear family, it's been an incredible experience too, right? In the sense of just all the time together, seeing all the different locations, right? Meeting not necessarily meeting lots of people, but kind of just seeing lots of different parts of the country, and seeing the U.S. in a way that I didn't never experienced it before.
Amazing. Wow. So you're saying that this pandemic has actually allowed you to do things that you were not normally doing, or not even normally thinking of doing this.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, I think our family, luckily, we had a little more resources, right? So our jobs were more secure, right, in terms of being white collar. So we were allowed to work remotely, like unlike a lot. So, and so I think for us, it was, yeah, much more, we basically spent a year on the road, which we couldn't have done, if we were, if this pandemic hadn't happened. So in that respect, the pandemic has been positive. There's been negatives. I don't want to, discount the negatives even to our own family, but there's, that's been a very big positive in terms of this experience, and being very close to our girls, right? See them every day, spend more hours with them than we normally would have.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what are some of the Yeah, so it looks like me immediately you've kind of made changes. I can already listen that you've made a lot of changes in terms of having the ability to sort of move around and experience different places. Uh, I guess even spending a lot more quality time with family.
Yeah, with my immediate family, at least with my wife and daughters, obviously not as much with uncles and parents and all that, but everyone, my immediate family, definitely.
Right. And how do you see, in terms of health, what have you done about, I mean, what's your perspective on health these days?
It's more important than ever, but it's harder, right? So I think listen, I think there's a couple of things that have really, crystallized for me in the pandemic, right? So one is there's constant change. So, you really have to accept that change is a constant, and this year is going to be different than last year. And you kind of always knew that, but the pandemic kind of really transformed that. So, and technology is advancing at such a rate that that's really impacting the world. And how that translates to health is, yeah, you want to live longer, right? And there's lots of ways to try to do that. So some of the ways I was trying to be healthy, like yoga, I was pretty active before the pandemic. It became really hard. Like, I don't like working out by myself. I don't like working out or exercising alone. I prefer to be in groups. So it's been harder to find ways to stay active that you can still enjoy when you're just, doing it by yourself more, right? Whether it's running or something else.
Yeah.
But eating, we eat a lot healthier. I make a lot more of my own food than I ever did. The US and New York was always about ordering in and taking out. And now it became, well, you don't want the restaurants delivering. So we learned to cook a lot more. So eating a lot healthier has been a big thing. But that's I think there's kind of lessons to be learned. Let's see what I take back. But eating healthier, trying to figure out ways to stay active, have been probably two of the biggest things to keep working on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk about, I mean, I'm sure lots of us have actually realized what is more valuable right now. I mean, when things were kind of normal, I mean, I don't know what's the new normal. I mean, this is a new normal, but what things were before the pandemic, everyone seemed to be like sort of just running and just in some sort of a race, but not really valuing what we have right now in front of us. Did that
Yeah,
did that come across to you at all?
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we were, it's slowing down has probably been the biggest life lesson of the pandemic, right? There's not 10 places to go, things to see. But it's very different when you wake up and you're like, oh, I want to go out, but there's really nowhere to go other than a park, right? We spend most of our time on the beach. And you start to realize when you don't have these activities such as the movies or shopping or things to go meet friends all the time, you actually get a lot of time back, right? And that time can be used in either very productive ways or very semi-productive ways, like watching Netflix all day. And I think for us, the pandemic, I think the other lesson over the year is the pandemic has definitely gone in waves. Not waves in terms of the illness, but waves in terms of how we spent our time, right? So there was a period of time where we were doing Zoom video calls with everybody we knew, and every day was some sort of Zoom event. Have a drink at night, or let's get on Zoom, and I haven't seen you in forever. And then now we don't Zoom at all, right? Now we stop with personal Zooming, right? We don't sit here and say, let's get on a family chat for 2 hours a day. And so I think the pandemic has gone through phases for us, right? In terms of how we've been living our life and what we've been spending our time on.
Mm, yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, so what would you say is some of the key biggest learnings or lessons or insights you would like to share with the people here or the audience for
Listen, I
yourself?
think the biggest theme to me and the bank I founded here in the U.S. is a technology bank, right? And so I've been spent 20 years in technology. I think the biggest lesson is technology is moving at a more rapid pace than anyone realizes. Where if everything from this vaccine, right, which was on this technology RNA, right, they had the vaccine in a month, right, when the virus first hit, and they took them a year to roll it out, but it's still 5 times faster than any vaccine's ever been rolled out, right? That is one example of how technology is moving much more rapidly than I think any of us realize. And then things like whether it's this crypto craze, or it's Zoom video communications, or it's how we interact, using our apps, etc. The role of technology is much faster than most people realize. And if you start to embrace that trend, then you start to realize that there are an incredible amount of opportunities to advance, both personally and professionally, the more quickly you understand that and embrace it. And the example I'll use for this group is, I think Vicaster said he wanted to learn piano. I think the ability to learn piano is probably 100 times easier today than it was even 10 years ago. Right now, I'll use my own example. I've been trying to learn Spanish during the pandemic, and I joined a group, and it's all video based, and I'm doing live instruction at a fraction of the cost that it would have cost me 10 years ago. But it's an incredible way that technology is transforming all our lives, and I think folks should really spend energy and time trying to understand that impact in their lives and how it can help kind of boost them both personally and professionally.
Amazing. Yeah.
And
exactly.
I think of Nevada as a technology company, right? Your technology is wellness, and there's a whole host of medicines and other things. But basically, what you're doing is taking advantage of this technology boom that's impacting the wellness category,
Yep.
And trying to bring that to people. To say 80 is the new 50 that's because of technology.
Yep. Absolutely. So does anyone have a question to ask Rocky? Dr. Sanjay, are you still here? Dr. Sanjay?
No, Dr. Sanjay is not there.
He's not there. Let me ask him. Where did he go?
Okay, later on.
Yep. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, that is very insightful for sure. I mean, technology. I think we all have had to really put our hands in technology and learn really quickly. Even those people who are not familiar with technology, if they didn't get familiar with it, they're going to be like losing out on lots of opportunities, right? So you're from the investment background. So is that where people are sort of like, investing their finances into these days?
Oh yes, I mean, I think technology is a broad theme, is a big category. I will make the pitch for one very specific technology, right? So I'm down the blockchain crypto rabbit hole for many years, right? So Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these kind of innovations, and I think this is a transformational piece of technology. There's a lot of hype and there's a lot of buzz and there's a lot of money to be made and lost in speculation. But I think just as a core technical innovation, this is like the internet from the 1970s, this is a transformative technology. And the more folks understand how people are trying to leverage this technology to change the way we're operating in business, I think there's lots of opportunities, right? So I would encourage everybody to spend 5% of their time looking and understanding the blockchain, even just conceptually, not all the technical stuff, but think about it as the next frontier or one of the big frontiers for what's going to be impacting the way we all interact with each other.
Amazing. So, Mr. Lau,
Yes,
blockchain technology.
yes, I know. But
Don't say that you're too old because you're not. You're only 50. You're gonna start learning.
Exactly.
my motto is hold on to what I have. That's it.
But
I
see, I
don't-
disagree with that. I
Yeah.
think the hold on to what you have is the opposite of what you're doing, right? Because I
Yeah.
think the hold on to what you have is the world is getting bigger. There's more opportunity. There's more, the more you take risk, it's interesting, right? The more you take risk and the bolder you are, the more likely you are to have kind of outsized experience, right? And so the more you try to hold on to what you have to me, that is the model of, hey, we're dying and we got to hold on to what we have and there's not enough for everybody. I kind of think it's the reverse.
No,
I mean, bolder, right?
he's just saying that, but I'm telling you, he's still very bold and he's a big risk taker. even when I see him taking risks at certain levels, I said, are you sure you want to take this kind of a risk? I kind of get scared like, at this age, and then I say, okay, I'm not reminding you of your age, but
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I
he's
do,
very
I
bold.
do some form, but not like before. Not like before. I like, used to I jump everything I can, lay money on, but not anymore. Now I think twice before before I do anything, but I still do it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, money's not your most important asset, right? I think you're right. Your wisdom or your how you want to, that's your most important asset. The money is more of money follows, right? The great ideas. But I think you should be bold, right? Everyone should be taking risk.
It has to multiply, because there are lots of expenses, a lot of investment going on.
There are.
You have to.
If we're living to 110, then we definitely need to be multiplying.
So Amit, are you listening to all this?
Yes, I'm right here. I'm keying in and learning new things, and it's wonderful.
So how you been doing, Amit? I know you are
Very good.
you're very involved in your work and you're very involved in the community.
Yes. Yes.
So tell me a little bit, tell us the audience and the people around here a little bit more about what you do, and so that we.
Well, to start with, firstly, the most important thing is I'm a father of 4 young children, so have to be very dedicated in my time to my family and giving time to them. And then I'm also involved in the family business, and then I'm president of a society in Hong Kong, of a Sindhi society in Hong Kong. So between it all, quite busy.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I mean, when I read your profile, I was like, wow, he's got lots happening.
Yes, I'm blessed. It's
And
a blessing indeed, and requires good planning and good use of time.
exactly. So tell us a little bit more about, uh, yeah, what I mean, did you know that this campaign was happening?
Well, I've been keeping tabs on and on and off. I haven't had the opportunity to join one of the webinars, but I've known Uncle Lal all my life. He's my dad's buddy. So I have been on and off reading the emails and the circulars and getting the feedback from the community that he's doing, that both you and him are doing wonderful things over here for the community.
Right. So, but you kind of understood what we were doing in terms of the
Yeah.
campaign, or you have a better understanding now?
It's improving, but I already kind of understood as well. I enjoy the panel discussion format. I think it's very good, informative, and it's an opportunity for us to learn and also teach each other.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, up until his birthday, of course, we were talking to a lot of seniors.
Yes. Happy birthday, Uncle Lal.
We were talking to a lot of seniors in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and then we said, no, let's reach out to the youth.
It's
Because-
wonderful. It's a great initiative. You're putting it is all connected. You have the seniors and you have the youngest beneath them. We are all in line with each other, so we all need to get on board with each other and support each other, as it is we are all one community.
Exactly. And it is like, as you said, yes, today we might be 40, we might be 50, but then if we see seniors ahead of us who are 80, and they're living such a youthful, energetic life,
It's wonderful.
what are they doing that we can start following now, right?
It's a blessing. I really appreciate it. And I think Uncle Lal is a pioneer here. But I think Uncle Lal he is personifying a trend of longevity,
Yes.
and longevity escape path, meaning that what it is with the better technology, with Moore's law, with computers advancing, that a person will soon be, for example, the life expectancy in a year will go up by more than 1 year. So it's a longevity escape velocity where where you may age a year, but you're expected to live 2 years longer. And there will be a point where life extension goes on and on, where you're healthy, you're happy. You may be aging in number, but you're not aging in health. And I think Uncle Lal is a pioneer in that respect, in that he is showing everybody that aging is an aged concept. It's an old concept, and that aging is now going to slow down. We're going to live longer and healthier and happier, and the numbers are going to go up, but your health is going to stay up with it too.
Exactly.
So
And of course, I mean, for him to remain that healthy and happy, there are certain kind of patterns or habits
of
that
course,
he's been following for many years.
the holistic approach.
Yeah. So I mean, what's your take on the fact that, do you see, especially for example, your family, your friends, do you see
Yes.
their families and stuff also living longer and healthy, or what do you
Those
think
who,
is a need at the moment?
I think that with health, those who take care of themselves will be taken care of. So you have to take care of your health. You have to be active about it. You have to read the science. You have to do the exercise. You have to put in the effort. And just like anything else, you put the effort and you get the reward.
Mm. So are there any sort of practices that you already have in place? Because I mean, see, you have a lots happening in your life. You're taking care of a lot of things. So
Yes,
even to take care of that sort of all these things, you need some form of balance state of being.
correct. In my life, I have to run it all. I have to exercise, something which I have a love-hate relationship with as well. Exercise is very important. When I do get into the exercise mode, I become very healthy very fast. When I get out of the mode, I lose that health. So I swing between the the fit and healthy to the sort of less fit and not as healthy, and I can feel the difference between the two. So exercise, I feel, is number one most important. Then number two, I feel, is diet. You have to watch what you eat and be very careful, and and live a balanced life. And then number three is you have to take the right supplements. You have to take the right supplements. You have to take the right inputs in your body as well. You have to know what, balance out your needs of your body. So I try to do that and keep a balance between it all.
So are you currently doing that, or that's kind of?
Yes and no. Exercise is one thing I also have a seesaw relationship with, but now that I'm fully vaccinated, I'm right back in my workout schedule, working out very hard. But in between, I took a pause because of worried about going to gyms and things like that. But in terms of wellness, I do take regularly supplements, which I've been doing now since I was 35 years old. So I take wellness supplements and things like that in order to prevent aging and maintain good health.
Hmm.
And you find it's working? But and those supplements you believe are they working, or you just have kind of
I
started?
I've been taking, for example, NAD plus, NAD for supplements for 6 years now, and I really feel that I'm only 41, but it seems to be going down well. So let's see another 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah. So I feel that you need to take charge early, and I'd rather take a supplement than a medicine. I'm much happier to take a supplement than a medicine. That's for sure.
Right. And tell me something about the youth. I mean,
Yes.
you do have a lot of friends, and you
Yes.
have a big network of people. I see that you're very connected. What do the youngsters in your group of people, how are they living? Are they also very health conscious?
Yes. The generation and the trend in the last few years has been focused on good health. So everybody wants to be in good health. Everybody gives time and effort for exercise and wellness. But at the same time, they do try to live balanced lives with social life and enjoying their life as well. So it's about the great balance and finding the right sweet spot between living a healthy life and living a fun life. And I have to say, anecdotally, looking around, I feel that things like obesity is on the decline in society. I've been seeing less and less obesity in the last few years. People are trying harder to control that.
And what do you see more of an increase in terms of as people are getting older?
I see more conversations about health and wellness. I see people, we may be holding a drink and enjoying a drink together, but we'll be having conversations about exercise, going to the gym, and what we did in the morning. So it's a balance, and I feel that balance is slowly moving in the correct direction.
And do you think there's a lack of education, or there's more education needed? See, because I also noticed that when people go to doctors, when
Yeah.
there's a problem in the family or wherever, the doctors don't speak to you or direct you very
Yeah.
holistically.
Yes, it's very opaque.
Yeah. So do you think there's a gap there, and there needs to be a solution there?
I think that Google, here, I'm holding my phone here, Google has helped people a lot. I'm sorry, it's not showing up here. Google has helped people in many ways to learn more and more on the spot. So when you have a question in your mind, you look it up right away and you do your research right. And I think it's turned most of us into avid researchers. I think most people nobody has stepped foot into a library in a long time, but we're doing more research than ever. So I think that, that's something that's helped everybody from young to old.
Mm.
We no longer, the questions don't stay in our mind. They go into a search and the answers come sooner and quicker. And I think that, I mean, doctors know best, but I think doctors are overworked.
Mm. Mm.
And I think also doctors are working to solve a sickness where most people are at the stage now that they're looking how to not fall sick. Wellness, and that's key.
Yeah, not fall sick, and then if they are falling sick, they're trying to find a more holistic solution. I think the youngsters, especially, but not the elders, are still very dependent on the doctors. But
Yes,
yeah, the doctors or their children, But that is why there are places like ours, Naveda Wellness,
a blessing.
where we actually bring in the both. We bring in science and we bring holistic well-being as well. So it's integral. You can't say that you just need a doctor or you just need wellness, because you need both of them. Both of them have to integrate together. And in fact, that is Naveda Wellness's speciality. We're an integral wellness center where we bring the science and we bring holistic science together and show you how to integrate it. And that is what is much needed. And you will see much more of that coming up in the future. Because the doctors, as they say, when you go to a doctor, they'll just tell you, okay, take this medicine and do this. And then yes, you can go to Google, but not necessarily Google has all the answers or the accurate answers right there, right? So everyone's condition is different. Google is very generic, and the doctors don't have the answers. And
Yes.
in fact, I don't know where Dr. Sanjay is gone. I'm sure he'll come back, but he's the one who actually understands the entire science of putting things together and guiding people forward of how to manage this kind of any kind of diseases and cure them possibly. So yeah, so that definitely yeah, there's a lot changing. I too hear a lot of people very much into wellness and they really want to understand, they want to learn, but there's a lot of confusion with Google as well. So they don't know what to believe because there's so much information out there.
Yes, that's right. That's right. There's too much information.
Yeah, there's too much information which can confuse people, in
Yeah,
fact.
but you need a great filtering, which not everybody has.
Yes, exactly. So you'll see maybe 10 people on the same table and they'll all have different views about the same thing.
Yeah. The problem with Google is you can find an article that supports any argument that you have in your mind.
Mm.
So if you're thinking A, you'll find articles that support A. If you're thinking B, you'll find articles supporting B. And you can see that very clearly when it comes to taking the COVID vaccine. Those who want to take it will find lots of articles supporting it. Those who don't want to take it will find an equal amount of articles out there and science out there saying don't take it. So everybody's got the science and backing to do what they have already decided what they want to do.
Yeah.
But it's a problem with Google, which people don't know how. I mean, they have to learn how to filter and only accept the advice from respected journals and good authority.
Yeah, exactly. Finding the right people who know that knowledge. So,
Yeah.
for example, even talking about COVID, right? So it's like you're getting information from everywhere and people were getting all confused. But then
Yes.
you don't go up to WhatsApp University or you just don't go and
Oh, not
believe
what.
anything, right? You have to go to, for example, again, I'm going back to Dr. Sanjay. He's a microbiologist. He
Wow.
understands the virus. He
Yes.
has studied the virus. So going to an authority like him
Yes.
for guidance is, something that would be more accurate.
In my own experience and dealing with friends and family, WhatsApp is one of the worst sources of information you can find. And people will send me articles saying outrageous things. For example, I was forwarded an article from multiple people saying if you take the COVID vaccine, you cannot drink alcohol for many weeks. And I sent them back a link to a article from a respected journal from Boston that wrote about this issue because these rumors came out about the Russian Sputnik vaccine first. So they wrote a scientific paper saying that you can have alcohol 2 hours after you've taken your shot. But that scientific article written in a respectable journal and by a authority, I sent to my friends. They don't even open it or forward it to anyone because it lacks sensation. It's not sensational. It's boring. And in WhatsApp, only things that are considered as sensational get forwarded, and that's the problem with WhatsApp. Only the junk circulates.
Right. Right. True. True. So what do you think is your biggest lesson so far?
When I see Uncle Lal, it's a great inspiration to see him. You can be smiling and happy to beyond what you can imagine. And good health is out there for everybody as long as you take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you, Amit. Good.
Thank you, Uncle.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'll go on to Vikas. Of course, we'll come back. And if you have any questions for each other, and Dr. Sanjay will come back soon. So hi, Vikas. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. And you were very, very nervous.
Usually, I'm not so active on these platforms.
When I asked you to come on, and when your uncle asked you to come on, you were very nervous.
I was, but Uncle Lal is somebody I can never say no to.
I
Irrespective of
know.
the consequences, I would be there for him.
I know. I mean, I have to learn that art. Like nobody can refuse him. What's that secret?
I've spent some.
Whenever people say no to Navida, Veena, then she tells me, come on, you talk to him. He will not say no to you. So she let me do that for her.
Absolutely.
Did he sort of like, I don't know, did he bribe you earlier? Like everyone says yes to him.
He just needs to pick up the phone and it's done.
Yeah, it's everything. It's like he's
His,
like
his, his charisma still works the same it did 20, 30 years back.
yeah. What is it? What is it? What is it? So yeah, you guys can ask him those questions later. So tell us how you've been enjoying this so far. Is it informal as I told you it's going to be?
It's very interesting to get a viewpoint from what everybody thinks about this pandemic and how it's changed lives.
Mm. And I mean, you being in the epicenter of where lots of things have been happening right now in India, where you are in a lockdown. So what has happened to you? How's business? How's life?
Well, Mumbai also has been in lockdown. I think we are in lockdown till the 15th of May. But export companies come under essential categories, so we can function with 25 to 50% staff. So we are managing to work, but the roads are very quiet and it's really, really deserted. Very unlike what we've seen in Mumbai.
Mm.
And the situation outside is pretty grim because I talk to people and I hear what's going on. And we see situation, especially in Delhi right now, is really, really bad.
Mm.
And this, like Amit said, this institute of WhatsApp, that creates so much of panic, so much of stress that every time I hear something or I see something in a group, I go up to them, I said, please verify the facts because they're all old stories or 1 year old or whatever that do not believe in everything. We need to verify the facts, just don't create panic. But yeah, the situation in India looks pretty bad, but we hope to come out of it very soon.
Mm. And what have you been doing these days?
When we were in full-time lockdown, I mean, my father, my father-in-law's most important message that he gave me was stay calm, stay fit, and stay healthy. Because my father couldn't go to work because of this pandemic, we wanted to protect him and not have the vulnerable. So he started walking twice a day, thrice a day to keep himself fit. And my son also told me he's a national level swimmer. So he said that I need to prioritize my health. So I started going for daily walks. I started eating right. I started eating healthy. Prior to the pandemic, I would play badminton. I would play cricket, and keep myself busy. But with this pandemic, you can't step out of your building. So we started walking daily in the building or on the rooftop. So it's been very interesting. And I'm also trying to learn from my children and the current generation how to enhance my business using these various social media platforms. because everything is going online. Everything seems to be, like Rocky said, everything is technology oriented. People are not really visiting each other, customers or business people. So everything is going online on the online platform. So I really want to figure this out, how to enhance my business.
So have you started using e-commerce, in any ways to help your business?
We have just started, we're just starting to get on the Indian e-commerce platform to feel how's it like with Amazon and Flipkart and everything. We should be launching, I think, by next month, hopefully. We're just preparing for that.
Hmm. And was it something difficult for you to sort of like put your hands into, or because I mean, I know you've been traveling for business. Lots of you over here have been traveling for business. You meet people, you meet your customers, but then suddenly you have to, take on something really new. Was that very difficult for you? Is it still difficult for you?
It's been on my mind for a really long time, but like you said, we're all in the rat race and we are busy with just running all the time. So this pandemic has given us a lot of time to think and see how we can make these changes now, since we have the time.
Hmm. Exactly. And I hope you're learning fast, right?
I'm trying to. My kids are there to help me, so it's really helping.
So how old are your kids now?
My daughter's going to be 20 and my son is 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 20 and 15. Okay.
Wow.
You got married young, huh?
Not really, but the time is flying. I'm
Yeah.
50, so
50. Okay, you're 50, right. So what are did you take up any, like we saying, with the whole subtopic of this is lessons that you have learned, insights that you have got. So what are some of the lessons or insights you've got?
I feel that earlier we were busy running in the rat race and we were just running and keeping ourselves over busy. But today's pandemic has taught us that we need to realize and appreciate the basic things in life we have. We need to be grateful for the food on our table and the health of our family and loved ones. We need to just be thankful, and we realize that we don't really need so much that we are running for. And like how Uncle Lal is doing, he's enjoying his life, he's living it up. And we need to kind of slow down or take a back step and start doing the same.
Hmm. So what are some of the things you've taken up?
I
Piano?
haven't tried to take up, it's been on my mind, but yes, I'm spending a lot of time with my kids. Spending a lot of time with my family. I'm reaching out to all my friends. Like Rocky said, we're doing Zoom calls, connecting with friends, connecting with family, making sure, checking on them if they're okay. And just realizing that it's been a long time that we haven't been in touch. We need to touch base.
Hmm. Exactly. So before it was like everyone was running around busy with their own trade fairs, shows, customers, this, that we never really had time to connect with anyone.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
here you're saying connecting with your family all around, but even if you say your own kids, your own children, your wife, it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
every time you're deciding something to go, a party to go, somewhere to go, but there was no quality of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We would just get going and we need to be here, we need to be there, I need to travel here. Like I would take 8 to 10 international trips every year, domestic trips, and we would just be running. And now it's been 13 months and I just made one domestic trip in that. I haven't stepped out. I haven't even gone to Lonavala for a matter of fact, to even on a drive, just staying indoors and just being careful.
So Dr. Sanjay, welcome back.
Unmute, doctor. Yeah, he's there.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, now it's okay.
No, there's no sound.
No sound.
Wrong with my connection today. I don't know what.
Now it's fine.
Okay, now he's okay.
Yeah.
Now it's better.
Now better, yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I keep hearing. Yes. So the thing is that
Okay.
interesting thoughts from everyone. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you heard all of them, but it definitely looks like everyone has insights about spending a lot more quality time and learning new things, whether it's technology, whether it's taking care of their health and well-being, or whether it is being spending time with family. So these are some of the common things which I hear from all of these three young, charming men.
Yeah, this is actually, if you see, everyone is sharing the same thing, that life is more organic. Life is more organic. People understand the value of human relationship. People value more about the environment, the planet. Is there some kind of connectivity? In a previous discussion, I always keep saying that we are celebrating too much, we are running too fast, we are doing too much events in our life. So life was like, I don't know, we human species got crazy somehow, like last 20 years. If you really analyze, we like what we were doing. Okay, like the concept here is, um, the whole world was on a ride, a materialistic ride, right? If you see few years back, like 10, 20 years back, billionaires like, okay, have a 1 billion or 2 billion property, right? The asset. Now they have 40, 50 billion. The question is that the person whose asset increase 20 folds, 50 folds, is their quality of life increase proportionately? Answer is no. They think they are happy, but it was an illusion. Mostly like people are just celebrating. They just like too much things they were doing, right? So that's what, like when Rocky mentioned that it's kind of a nomad life you live, and uh, I did those things many times, and I still remember like one of my trip, like from Ottawa to Miami by road to see this Orange Ball championship. Like that's somewhere in 1997, 1998. I don't remember exactly. I'm a bit familiar, like, so that's a trend of US, like means a life you spend on a remote or on a road, right? And
Yeah.
I call it nomad life, right? And it's a very good example. You still enjoy the life, but yet you are not into that, like uh, very much glitter kind of things. You mentioned you're staying in a Manhattan, and that's exactly here it is. Like we are in Hong Kong, and sometimes honestly, like I feel like when you are too posh all the time, it's a bit boring. You need all the shades of life, right? So Corona has definitely COVID this incident. Obviously, there are like bad things happen with the family, those who gone through this tough time period. Due respect to them, but it's definitely taught a lesson to all of us. And if people don't change after that, then I don't know. Like we can't do anything to them. But all of us, as we said, is definitely people are spending more time with the family members. I believe like in many years, they come to know a real personality of their family members. People are eating more at home, like you are enjoying the home cooked food. But that's what I'm saying, like the people, those who are still not enjoying the home cooked food, okay, people are not eating with the family, they're still missing something. And then like because of this is the thing, my major observation all around the world, what pandemic has taught uh, to all of us. And that's what basically like you all basically share. Like other day I met Amit, your father, a wonderful personality, and like the full of energy and that positive attitude of life. So basically like all of you in this panel, that's what we talk about, like the positivity, right? Despite of like all the challenges and all the negative things, how we can find the point for the positivity. And as like because you mentioned, like you even didn't go to the Lonavala, right? So like there are many people like us, like same, we never like made any trip. We are all, we won't say we stuck, we stay in one place by choice. And I use that, like when we stay in one place by choice, we contributed to this society being a responsible citizen, right? Because that's what the whole world is saying, like stay at home, stay thing, like break the chain and all those kind of thing. And the whole world is basically suffering because people were not listening, people were doing partying, people are still traveling, and then a lot of things about the economy. So the whole idea was the non-essential item. So I think like still people could have avoided a non-essential item, in order to handle this situation well. And our this 80 is new 50, this particular panel, since January, we are really sharing a lot of like positive things over here. And people like you always come and share something very different. So you see like how interesting, especially with Rocky, when you mentioned like, okay, you lived in so many houses, so many cities. So that's what I said, like I especially call it nomad life. So what you would not have done on a routine life, because of the corona, you got the opportunity to do that. And it's an experience, right? And who knows, like maybe you like that and it can become your routine. Like 2 years later you say, okay, let's take a break another year and let's go on a trip and then make arrangements, something like that. So I think like the whole world is going to be a very new place with the new norms. And still people, I don't think people are going to miss anything. I don't think like both of you and like Amit, you guys are missing anything. Means I'm not missing anything. Like means life is like very simple, very organic. And I think Mr. Lal can address this. Like this is something when Mr. Lal was a kid, a child, that time the life was like that, what we are living today, right? So I think like for Mr. Lal is like coming back to the full circle. Uh,
Correct.
yeah, like living this organic life the way they started their life, right? Even we, when we were kid, right? We were kid, like our life was so simple. Our simplicity has all gone with this, all this new gadgets
So
and yeah,
I
it's
have a
all.
question for Uncle Lal then. If I, so
Yeah.
if Uncle Lal has said he went from rags to riches, right? So now in the end, he's a business tycoon, he's got wealth and he's able to kind of have this freedom. But looking back, would he have done things differently in his 30s and 40s and 50s, knowing that maybe he's become successful, or would he have not changed anything because he needed to make wealth to give himself freedom? Right. I mean, a lot of what we're talking about comes with wealth. You get freedom to start exploring and doing things. When we were, I think the way Uncle Lal grew up, he didn't have that luxury, right? It was
Uh,
work all the time and raise a family and try to figure it out.
yeah, very true, very true. But we made it, hard work, it paid up.
So he's asking you now, if you look back 20, 30 years, would you have done anything differently
In
from
your
what
50s, in your actual 50s,
in
maybe,
your
maybe
50s? In
that's the
your
question.
50s,
What would
would
you
you
have done
have done
differently in your
anything
50s?
differently?
Yes, I would have done many other things. I would have been a singer. I would have been in the movies. I would have been an actor, but I missed all those opportunities. But anyway, it's not too late. I'm in it now. I remember when I came to your wedding in San Antonio, correct?
Right.
And I sang
Yes.
a song, right? Same
Yes.
song.
Yes.
I'm gonna do it in video that you will see me tomorrow.
Very good.
Great. I look
That's
forward
that,
to it.
that's the present for you, birthday present for you. The same song which I sang so many years. When did you get married? Which year was that?
I got married in 2011.
2011. So
Years.
the same song
Yeah.
which I sang during your wedding time. So I'm gonna produce tomorrow in a video and send it to all, everybody. Yeah, you see that. Okay, so I'm
Tell
still
me
doing the
what
same.
is the song about again? I
What would
forget.
I have done
My
50
memory. See,
Well,
maybe
that's a surprise. That's
I
a
need help with
surprise.
my memory. I can't even remember my wedding
That's
from
a
10 years
surprise.
ago.
That is a
Yes,
surprise.
yes.
Surprise.
And show to your kids also, kids and wife, show them, that I say
I will.
at your wedding. So I'm still doing the same thing. What
You
I
know, I
should have
mean,
done, I'm doing it
Rocky,
now.
I want to answer that for you because I spent quite a lot of time with your uncle the last 10 years. And would he have done things differently? Uh, I don't think so because he has always, despite being so busy in whatever he's been doing to be responsibly providing for his family and more, he has always valued relationships. He has always had a balance in having a good time. So whether he's working, but he's not missing out on having a good time or being connected to his family, friends, or any of his hobbies. Of course, now he has more time to give to his hobbies, but it was not something that he sort of like, he said, I'm going to put something at the side and I'm just going to work. He never did that. He always enjoyed traveling. He always worked. He's connected with his family, friends, loved dining out. So it's what he's still doing today, but possibly he's just not working as hard as he used to.
Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I was also running so many offices around the world, but still I used to make three times a year with friends. I used to go out to, many places like New Zealand, Australia, or Europe, many places, three times. I used to make a trip. But nowadays, because of COVID, I cannot. But still, even today, I was talking to my sister in London. She said, "Oh, we're missing you. Come on, come to London, stay with me. I said, maybe if I stay with you for a week or so, I come back to Hong Kong and 21 days in quarantine. So I better stay at home. I'm safe at home. So I'm happy at home at present.
So you see, like this is very interesting. Like especially like my interaction with Mr. Lal. Like every second month or third month, he's out of Hong Kong. So there are like many people like they were traveling a lot, and now most of us they are not traveling almost as you said like 13 months, 14 months, or at least one
Right.
year. But no one like it's very interesting thing. Like I spoke to many people, and not many people are missing the traveling. Not many people are missing thing. They basically got adopted with their this new norms, right? And they are enjoying it. So I think like it's a more localized lifestyle, and that is why I mentioned that when we were a kid and the way we used to live a very basic organic life, I think like that's the life came back again because there's a more importance on the friendship and the people and the relationship rather than who has what, you know. And I think like last 20 years, that's where we lost the relationship in the world because it was a design that what you own, okay, what you have. So Vikas has no identity. Vikas has identity based on what he has, like how many cars you have, like how good job you have, how big business you have, your bank balance, how many party you are throwing, how many countries you travel. It's actually this is true. Like this is a like I have done many social experiment, and that's where the measurement came. Like last 20 years, like what is your wealth, how many countries you travel, how many parties you can throw, what is your social visibility, and everyone doesn't matter like means what is your status, but so far you are appearing on a picture with like some dignitaries or big guys like that. Okay, you are a big guy, and then the whole crowd is going after this so-called quote unquote big guys. So I never understand what is the definition of this big guys or the high status guy, right? But today corona has really teaching everyone no, at the end of the day we all are human, and then we need to understand. And if I make a friend with Rocky, uh, just with Rocky, doesn't matter what Rocky has around it, That's what Corona is helping people to realize that today. And I think like everyone is within the family and within the friend circle, both. Like you see, like it's funny, but it's true. Many people first time they are learning about their family members because they never spend so much time with their family members. So this is very strange, right? But that's a good thing. So I believe like definitely post corona time period, the world will definitely be more creative, more interesting. People will value different things rather than what we keep valuing. Means you think about it, this is my question to everyone, like um, if we have to go from point A to point B, like I just wanted to take one example of Hong Kong, and which you can relate with Manhattan actually, or even in Mumbai, right? People earn so much money in their life, okay, and then you pay $50 million to just own a 2,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet flat or house. Think about it. Does it make sense? This is no economics in the world. It's all artificially inflated. So basically, like my interpretation is that the slavery 1600, 1500 centuries, slavery came back in a very different way. It has given a very sophisticated polish on the top of it. We call it the finance or the economics, GDP, and all those kind of things. But what is that? It's a slavery. That, do you think like you need a car to spend millions of dollars to go from point A to point B? The answer is no.
Right.
But you are doing it. People are doing it. We all are doing it. People gone crazy. So that's the whole thing, the whole artificial inflation, right? So certain people go after the money. You see how the trouble in the world, like we in the wellness we talk about how the trouble came in the world, like New York, Hong Kong, London, Mumbai. These are the best example of social disparity. The rich people are more like rich, and the poor people are like just fighting for the basic needs. Why this
Right.
gap is like getting bigger and bigger? Why? Because there is enough number of rich people who can afford the property, keep buying the property, keep buying the property, and you put the property price so high that it is beyond the reach of the normal people. Why a normal people will spend, say, okay, take an example of New York, right? Why someone pay 5 million US dollar to buy an apartment? Is it a small money? It's a huge money. People can go to Brazil, people can come to India, people can go anywhere, or you can go somewhere in the US and the whole life can live with the luxury. So the question here is what I am trying to emphasize. If we go back 20 years in time, the 5 million, even 1 million US dollar had a lot of value.
Correct.
So in last 20 years, what happened? Say Bombay, like Mumbai. Take the example of Mumbai. I can very well remember, like you go year 2000, right? Whatever like available, like less than crores. Now people are talking about 5 crores, 6 crores, 10 crores. Like it's like that you are printing money. But can a normal people, the ordinary people, earn that much money? So the question here is this world is designed for 1% people, 5% people, or for the people? So that's where I do this whole interpretation of the wellness, that it is for everyone. Our planet is for everyone. And everyone can live their life so far they are happy. The way Rocky, you mentioned you went on traveling, right? You travel so many cities. How many millions of dollars is required? Not much.
He's running the bank.
Yeah, no, listen, I think I think there's a lot to unpack in what you said, right? So uh, I agree with you, right? The world is a very big place and there's lots of opportunity. And that's why I keep harping on technology, because I think technology is the great equalizer to allow people to have kind of robust lives living maybe anywhere in the world and working and be able to create income. I think the thing that you're pointing on, which many people talk about, which is, you know, wealth creation and disparity, and New York's a $5 million apartment. But that has been the system that has worked for the last 20 to 30 years to actually increase life expectancy and pull maybe, I don't know how many, billion people out of poverty, right? So there is a, I wouldn't, it feels like there's madness, but frankly, it's the best system that the humanity's come up with in the last 500 years, right? These examples of these cities, et cetera, have served a purpose, right? And maybe they continue to serve a purpose for a period of time. So I don't think it's as easy to say, a 2,000 square foot apartment shouldn't cost $5 million in Manhattan. Like, it seems madness. Yes, it seems madness. But if you go back 100 years, right, the challenges were different. The disparity was different. So I think there's, I don't have an easy answer. I don't think it's as, I think it's, what you're saying is right. Wellness is a key to happiness. I agree with that, right? I agree with, you can actually have a very happy life without a lot of money, right? You need a certain level of income or wealth to actually have a reasonable life in today's society, right? To talk about, real things, right? It's easy to say you can live as dirt poor, but that's really not true. You need to make a certain amount of wealth to kind of, be able to put a house over your head and make sure your kids are fed, etc. But then from there to how much wealth you need, I think that's an individual decision, right? I think people have to
Like,
kind of figure out what's right for them.
Make this the whole statement related to COVID, like the COVID.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you well.
I just like the whole thing put into in comparison with COVID, that COVID brought this situation around the world. They force every people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Before COVID, it was people's choice. People were like going like that. People think like our life has improved, we are doing well, and all those kind of things. And that's the point I'm making. That COVID made people realize, no, whatever you thought, it was an illusion. The reality is what people are doing now. This is the reality, that it's like people got rich, people got wealthy, people have a good quality of life, but what they were not doing, they were not spending time with their own family members. They were not eating like the home cooked food kind of things. They didn't have enough time for their own people. And if you see like the smartphone and all these gadgets, like it's like 12, 15 years, like last 12, 15 years. So suddenly, like, okay, technology on one hand helped a lot of things, and obviously thanks to the technology, like we are able to work in the remote and manage to do many things. But on the same side, technology has created a lot of like how to say, when we talk about masses, we have to take the statistics. That is why I mentioned what we see.
Yeah, no, I agree.
5% of the world population have all the facility. 95% people do not have a facility. So the question is like, if we are wealthy, or if the person is wealthy, it's like a French Revolution, right? In the French Revolution, the people say like, hey, if you don't have a bread, go and bake cake. That's the exact situation. So when someone is like very rich, they just don't understand what's going on in the world. They think like, why don't you have? I have, why don't you have?
Well,
It's not about
I gotta give you a point of view here.
Yeah,
Two
please.
things. Firstly, we were talking about real estate, and Uncle Lal is living longer and healthier. In the case when you talk about 50 is the new 80 is the new 50. What you got to realize here is that people are going to live a lot longer, so they're going to need to live in those nice houses they lived. Whereas you'd buy a house and you'd not live that long. And here in this case, people are living older and older and older, and they need their nice, they're going to continue to live in those houses. So real estate values will go up because people are living longer. A major source of real estate in the economy is people who passed away have left empty houses. But if people are living longer and longer and older, you're going to find that they're living in their nice houses that are paid off, and then those houses are not coming back in the market for a longer period. So there's an economics part of it too. And number two, what I got to say is you're talking about people living, the wealth factor in it. And you're talking about alpha world cities and that people are accumulating money. And I seriously feel that when life is getting longer, it's going to be a very expensive process. It's going to cost a lot of money. And those, especially when it's new, the technology is new, life is something that if you can throw money at it and get more of, people will throw their fortunes to get more of it. And I think that is the only way that the cost of longevity will go down in the long run, when money is chasing it and there's more demand for it and things like that. And always starts, any technology starts very expensive and very limited, and then over time becomes more democratic. The price goes down and more people can enjoy it. And the same thing you're going to find, I feel, in longevity as it comes to more fruition.
I definitely agree with you. But here we are also discussing because as Rocky and Vikas mentioned that
Dr. Sanjay, could you put your mic closer?
Yeah.
you can't hear me.
Like, for example, the drug has to be developed and a lot of expense and research is done, but later on it goes to cheaper manufacturing, and and everybody enjoys after a while. But it's always the rich who enjoy it first.
No, see, I think if you remember that this movie, like City of Joy, long time back, if anyone remember that movie, right? It's all about like the life of Kolkata. There are very good example in the world. Like what we have to understand here, that's what exactly I made. There are rich people, they will, that's why I gave the example of the French government. They say like, okay, if you don't have a bread, go and bake a cake. Means when you live in the luxury, you don't understand how the 95% people live, right? So I want to like see realistic situation. If Hong Kong, the newborn people, okay, those who are going to the university and they're going to get a best job, and after best job they calculate like, even after 30 years of my best top quality job, I cannot buy a property. You don't need a society like that. See, that is the thing, that called the dominance. That dominance, my point is, if the businessman is deciding the financial of the city, then the service class cannot live, because the businessman can afford unlimited amount, but the service class people can whole life a good white collar jobs. Okay, so say for example, like we take a Hong Kong, like good salary, like 100,000 Hong Kong dollar. It's a pretty smart, handsome salary, 100,000 Hong Kong dollar. But a person who earned 30 years 100,000 Hong Kong dollar cannot afford a good house in Hong Kong. That's the main point. Whether he is a doctor or professor or like very good position. So that's where the world is going wrong. People need to understand the world should not be controlled by the financial ability of the business people, because business people earn in millions, whereas the 95% the salary class people has a cap, upper cap, right? They cannot go up to that. So there is a fixed kind of thing. That's the first thing. So what I mean to say, that during the Corona time period, even the rich people have realized that what I'm collecting, my asset and wealth and thing, it is important, but at the same time, the relationship is also very important. The living life is also important. And that's come back to Mr. Lal's this whole happy and the personality that Mr. Lal like achieved successfully, celebrated his 80th birthday. Why? Because Mr. Lal doesn't own a car. He's not going in a Mercedes or BMW or Ferrari and showing off kind of things. He doesn't have. What he has is a personality. What he has is a friend. What he has is the financial ability to spend. Okay, so that's a very good example to explain that people have a different perception. So I got Mr. Lal here, and we make him the wellness ambassador because it's a perfect example, Mr. Lal. And Rocky and Vikas, your Lal uncle. And these days you say like he developed a singing hobby and all those kind of things at the age of 80. He's making so much effort. If you see his video, you can see he's making effort. So the question here is, this happened because of the Corona time period. Otherwise, Mr. Lal was also disappearing from Hong Kong every 2 months.
Right.
The moment like is 2 months 2 months completed, Mr. Lal wanted to leave Hong Kong to go somewhere else. But now I believe, Mr. Lal, you are here almost like 1.5, more than 1 year, right? Right?
14 months, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't change his lifestyle. He has a beautiful, wonderful friend circle. He's going out. Now he's more organic. He's enjoying the life with his friends. Okay, face to face on a daily basis kind of thing. So that's what I that like the what I mean to say, I'm not we are this is not an economic panel kind of things, but I'm trying to give like little bit kind
Yeah.
of things like on the wellness perspective, that corona has basically uh, taught many of us that yes, there are so many beautiful things which we never realize, and we are realizing it right now. So maybe the people's value or the priority may change in the future. That's my
So,
take on this.
so I also, I was just sharing with him the other day that you only were able to develop your talent of singing because you have been consistently you've been in one place. Had this not been, you would have not been consistent. You would have taken off in 2 months. You would have lost, that drive to pursue that passion or reignite that passion. So it is that, uh, because you're forcefully put in the situation, you have been having the ability to be consistent in developing your passions and your talents.
That's
You're
This
true.
pandemic,
right,
Yeah.
Vinay.
also this pandemic has made people realize that you need to be content with what you have, because
Yeah.
you have been forcing and running and trying to earn millions and millions, but you don't really need it. So
Yes.
this is when you feel that, listen, I need to spend more time and live up my life and enjoy with what I have.
Yeah.
Every person in this, see, what is the thing like means, if I give this right uh, impression, every human being is important on this planet in their own way.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say, that the way the world say rich people, those who have money, is only dictate the world, is a wrong notion. Okay, if today, if like a simple nurse is not there in ICU, the doctors cannot help you. The whole social structure is designed in such a way that you need like you need a waitress, you need like a nurse, you need like so many people, and that's why you can enjoy your luxury.
Mhm.
Imagine that everyone say like, hey, I want to become a billionaire. Then you end up, even you are billionaire, you have to do your job by yourself, because no one is like ready to work like so
Right.
respect is very important to understand. There are many people on this planet, many people on this planet, money is not an important thing for them. A best example, the poets, the writers, okay, singers, they enjoy their art, what they like, that is the money for them, right? I'm from the university background. I have like a world famous, like I know so many Nobel laureate and all those kind of people. Nobel Prize winner, their car is just like, they don't care which car they are driving, because they just want to go from point A to point B. But when they talk, their brain is giving something. So that is their asset, right? So that's the whole point. Like Corona is actually helping people to understand whatever you have. If you have a money, you enjoy your money. If you are singer, you enjoy your singing. If you like the photography, you enjoy your photography. If you are a cook, enjoy your like cooking. So this is the new things happen. And I think like last 3 months or 4 months, 5 months, right, Veena?
Four,
Yeah, five
four
months
months,
five
almost four,
months right?
four and a half months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way we presenting Mr. Lal, actually we make Mr. Lal as an example, and try to take Mr. Lal's personality and try to see like, okay, what Mr. Lal has, like in terms of and using to make his life very lively and happy. So I always say, I notice two things. One is, why Mr. Lal is happy, because he himself is a happy person, but he is surrounded by the happy people. This is very important part. He is not surrounded by unhappy people. So that is the secret of his happiness. I observe very carefully this particular point, that he is surrounded by the happy people. So he is always in that kind of happy synergy. So then he laugh, he make other people laugh. There's no one is tense in his group, like like no one is I never see any person arguing or debating kind of things on any issue. Like is everyone is like, like happy-go-lucky
Right.
lucky kind of thing. So I think like that is why we say 80 is new 50, because it's a good inspiration that we as a young people, Mr. Lal is a very good inspiration for all of us. We say like, okay, if we can adopt certain uh, pers- uh, uh, like personality points from him or people like him, we can be a very positive in our life.
Well said. Well put.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And I
Absolutely.
think the fact that he's adding new skills, right? Even at
Yes.
this age, I think you're right. You can keep adding new skills that you would never think. You think you're too old to learn, but it's like those simple truths. I think that's incredibly
Yeah.
important for what he's
I
doing.
mean, I've heard so many people in their 50s and 60s like, oh, I'm too old to go back to school, or I'm too old to do this, or I'm too old to do that. I was like, no, you're not. Oh my God, you're so young, you know?
Uncle Lal, yeah, he's blooming. He's blooming with
Yes,
time.
For me, I had
that's true.
opportunity. I had opportunity to work with Uncle Lal in the mid '90s, and I learned so much from him. You know how he manages multiple offices worldwide, his infectious energy, his lifestyle, the way he would move around. It was unbelievable experience that I really cherish for the rest of my life.
He's amazing. He's
Because
amazing guy. Like me, that's what I'm trying to highlight this, that anyone who know Mr. Lal, they will understand what we are saying. And you use
Absolutely.
this word infectious. It is true that he's a very strongly positive attitude guy. So even you are
Absolutely.
down or you are negative, you have no chance to be negative with him. You will
He would never
automatically.
enter a room. He would never enter a room with dull. He said, "Good morning," and it's like wake up everybody. I mean,
Yes.
anyone is dull or quiet or sad, immediately has a smile on his face.
And I want to come back to Dr. Sanjay's point where everyone should be respected, not because of how much money you have. And I've seen that in him. He respects every single person and he doesn't look at how much money they have. He just respects. He has this whole thing about respecting human being for who they are and not what they have. And that's also his quality.
That's what pandemic has taught us wealth. Health is wealth. Healthiest is the richest.
yes, I remember Vikas,
Gee.
your whole family is in the property business, but you were the only one. He said he doesn't want to go into property business. He wants to be in a trader, like me. So I told him, okay, I'm opening an office in Bombay. Now you take over. He said, I don't know anything about trading. I don't know anything about business. I said, you will learn. You come and sit down and people will do it for you. You just see what they are doing and just follow that one. And that was he did, right?
Absolutely. And I
Right.
learned so much from that.
So that is how you got into export
It was
business.
an unbelievable experience. Those few
Yes.
years that I was with you.
Good. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for
Amit,
you.
how old are you, Amit?
I'm how old? I'm getting older. I just turned 41 yesterday.
Yeah, so see, Mr. Lal is a good inspiration for all of us.
Of course. And why I like Uncle Lal is that not only is he aging gracefully and not showing any signs of aging, but Uncle Lal, you're growing older and you're finding more purpose in life,
Yes,
more fulfillment in life as you're aging, which is even wonderful, even more wonderful. So you're showing us the way.
exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I learned something about from your father. I started walking because your father is doing the same. 30,000 steps your father is doing. I'm only doing 15, but still I'm happy. At least
Wow, that's
15 I'm
amazing.
doing.
No, but our purpose is solved. See, like the point we try to make over here, that there are many people like, yes, Amit's father is there, Mr. Lal is there. So many people, they are very active people, and they should be the role model for us, like those who are 40, 50, and the people, those who get demotivated at the age of 40 plus or 50 plus. We say, hey guys, don't get demotivated. Look, these guys, like they are 80 plus, 70 plus. So that's the whole inspiration for us. And I think like last a couple of months, that's what we have collected so many wonderful people, like we have a people like 80 plus, 90 plus, like so active, and we were so surprised to see like, wow. So I said, Mr. Lal, you have a good company. Like now, like 50, 60 new people like of your age with the same kind of crazy attitude, like means they all can beat us so easily.
But from today, we're going to have all youngsters, 40, 50, 50s, 50s around.
Oh, you need to get even
40s,
younger.
50s, 30s. We
Yeah,
have
yeah,
30
yeah.
I think everybody of every age, every decade, you need to hear their opinion.
Yeah. Because even I've heard even 20s. I've heard someone in their mid 20s and say, I'm too old to do this. I say, what? What are you talking about? It's like, hello.
It's good
It was
enough.
said very well by Dr. Sanjay, that Uncle Al is leading the way and teaching us how to improvise and do things at whichever age. There's no age for learning and there's no time for learning. You got to keep going. And I see a lot of elderly people getting demotivated or not being
Yeah.
surrounded by happy and positive
Yeah.
people. So you realize, so automatically you are demotivated. But if you come across somebody who is motivated, who's happy, who's enjoying, who's living it up, it makes a very big impact on them.
Absolutely true. Means I started believing like I think like I have a lot of blessing from Mr. Lal. Like is, as you said, you use the word infectious. So that's what it is, right? So we don't get a corona, we get Mr. Lal's infection. So that's
Infectious.
good. Yeah. So that's great.
Yes.
Well done, Uncle.
Absolutely.
Mal, well
So
done.
lovely. It's 10:35. We normally end the session with Mr. Lal singing for us. So we give him the stage to do that now.
Okay, since we have no time, just one para. Okay. Now, this song is very old song. I think this song was, sang before even all of our three panelists were born, by Dilip Kumar. I think that was his first movie. I want to sing that one. What is this? ओ बचपन के दिन बुला न देना, ओ बचपन के दिन बुला न देना, आज हंसे कल रुला न देना, ओ बचपन के दिन बुला न देना, आज हंसे कल रुला न देना, ओ बचपन के दिन बुला न देना, लंबे हैं जीवन के रस्ते, आओ चले हम गाते हंसते आ, दूर देश एक महल बनाए, प्यार का जिसमें दीप जलाए, दीप बुझाकर बुझा न देना, ओ बचपन के दिन बुला न देना. Thank you. Remember, we were all young.
You still are
Excellent,
young.
Uncle.
Still young. We are still young.
Veena, I need a new
Very
slogan for my turning 50 as well,
50 is the new 30.
Yeah, go ahead.
Amit, did you miss his song?
I was right there. I enjoyed it. It was very nice. I was just thinking about the fountain of Lal, the fountain of youth.
The Fountain of Youth. Yes, he is the fountain. We did have a topic called the Fountain of Youth in one of our
Well, the
panels.
fountain of youth starts with the fountain of you, Uncle Lal.
Absolutely.
Well
I,
said.
Thank you
I
so
remember
much.
like other day, Amit, your father organized a birthday party for Mr. Lal in KCC.
Oh, yeah.
And one of Mr. Lal's friends, Sundar, made his birthday cake,
Oh.
and it was written like 80s, right? So
Mhm.
Mr. Lal got so used to say like, hey, where is 50 on this? Right? You read only 80 on that, right? So you see, like Mr. Lal got like now addicted of saying, okay, he is 50 years, like he is no more 80. So it's just a number for him.
God bless you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you so much. Thank you for being here. And if you're in Hong Kong, please come to visit Naveda Integral Wellness. So we have lots of lovely, lovely services and products here. So Amit, you're in Hong Kong, please do come here.
Thank
And Vikas and Rocky, whenever you're in Hong Kong, I hope
Hopefully
soon.
soon. Yes.
We hope to see you.
Thank
you.
you for inviting me.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you so much. And looking
Yes.
forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
Naveda in Mumbai, India as well.
Yes,
Definitely,
of course.
definitely.
Yes, yes. We have plans to be there as well.
Excellent. Looking forward.
All
Okay,
right.
thank
Thanks,
you. Nice to
everybody.
meet you
Bye.
all of you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr.
All of you
Sanjay.
as well, Doctor.
Bye,
Thank
bye,
you, Dr.
bye,
Sanjay.
bye, bye. Bye, Rocky.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Amit.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Take
Vikas.
care.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.